This season, Instacart has your back to school. As in, they've got your back to school lunch favorites like snack packs and fresh fruit. And they've got your back to school supplies like backpacks, binders, and pencils. And they've got your back when your kid casually tells you they have a huge school project due tomorrow. Let's face it, we were all that kid. So first, call your parents to say I'm sorry, and then download the Instacart app to get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes all school year long. Get a $0 delivery fee with your first 3 orders while supplies last. Minimum $10 an order. Additional terms apply.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to This Song Is Yours, a music podcast where we chat to a new guest each week, talk about their life and creative endeavours, and talk to them about some of the music they love. Our show works by chatting to our guests about music, but also getting them to make you a playlist of the songs they love. You can find the link to our playlists in the show notes. Welcome to episode 89. I'm your host, Simon Fink. Our guest today is 360. The Australian hip-hop artist and rapper is celebrating the 10th anniversary of his double platinum album, Falling and Flying. In today's episode, we're speaking with 360 about how the record was made, the risks taken back then in 2011, and we discuss the music of Kanye West. Here we go. Our guest today is celebrating the 10th anniversary of his second studio record, Falling and Flying. Going double platinum in Australia, the record had hits like Throw It Away featuring Josh Pike and Boys Like You featuring Gossling, and is now being celebrated by a new reissue on vinyl. Please welcome to This Song Is Yours, Matt Colwell, aka 360. Hello.
Hello. How you going?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Is the sound all good?
Yeah, no, it sounds great. It's it looks like you're in is this your home studio?
Oh yeah, so this is just in the basement at home, and just got I do all my recording in this section here, and yeah, and do some streaming, and it's got like a little cool movie setup. It's a nice little man cave, you know. I love it.
That's very cool. It looks very, very cool. The records, like I imagine the gold records on the wall for you, and the TV. It looks like a bit of a sweet setup.
Yeah, I love it. We put a lot of work into it during the lockdowns. It was actually like a really fun project.
That's very cool. Congratulations. Today, the reissue of Falling and Flying is out, the 10-year anniversary. It's a very exciting time.
Can't believe it, man. It's actually kind of bizarre, to be honest. Like, yeah, just looking back and how everything has changed, you know, like I haven't really thought about it that much, like how the entire industry has evolved and shaped from 10 years ago is so crazy. You know, like back when we were doing Falling and Flying, the way to go about promoting music was to pitch it to radio and hope that they'd play it. And if they didn't, it was kind of like, oh, they were the be all and end all, you know. And these days it's like they've become less and less relevant. They're still very important, but it's like it's a lot more digital now and just all about online. And it's good. It's good to see how many people are also adapting to it.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like sorry, you go.
No, I was just saying they're adapting and building their careers, which is great. You know, not letting it like time pass you by. With you got to, I guess, grow with the times and stuff, which is good.
100%. I think that these days it's more almost like fan run, if you will. Like back then, the radio stations were like the gatekeepers, if you will. I know that phrase was thrown around a bit at the time, but these days it's more like you can just give it direct to fans and they can do what they want with it and, you know, run it up the charts, do whatever it is.
Yeah. And like even stuff like TikTok, man, is just so big now, you know, like such a big way to reach like I was watching an interview with the games manager, and he was saying that TikTok's on there number one for promoting songs rather than going to the radio these days, which is really, really crazy. Never expected something like that, but it's, yeah, just how it goes, I guess.
It is slightly bizarre. Are you on TikTok yourself?
I am, but I don't use it. Like, to be honest, I don't get it. I think I'm sort of a bit old. I don't quite understand it. And I think a lot of the people on there can do some really creative and funny stuff. But yeah, it's not like I look at it that much, like ever, to be honest. I just post and that's it.
Yeah, that's very fair. I think that I might be in that same boat. I view some like music related stuff on there, but I don't quite understand the trends, or I think if I do, I'm about 5 trends behind. It's not, not worth it. Going back to the record, it is 10 years, as we said. It's just crazy to think, because that album, I feel like in the last 15, 20, 25 years, Australian hip-hop has kind of come more to the forefront with yourself, Hilltop Hoods, Briggs, Draft, Illy, like a number of massive names. But at the time, it was still growing. The album itself was massive 10 years ago. It was a huge kind of jump, I think. What do you remember at that time from kind of having it released and seeing it, become this much bigger beast?
It is strange looking back to think of how successful it actually was. Like I always believed in it, and we really did think it was going to do amazing things, but never in my wildest dreams did I think it would go that crazy. Like it is wild, because like we put out 7 singles and radio picked up every single one, where usually if you drop an album, you're lucky to get 1 or 2 singles on the radio, So I think it was the timing and the rollout of it. It just all worked so perfectly. And it was also very lucky back then, because there was like 50 festivals a year, where like these days there's 2 or 3 or something like that, you know what I mean? And so we were, playing so many festivals, just a great time to come out. It's trippy to think of to release something like that, to really kick a goal like that is such a big achievement. I'm very, very proud of it, for sure.
Yeah, of course.
It doesn't feel real though. Like when I say that, it still doesn't feel real.
Is there a little bit of like,
Imposter syndrome?
Yeah, no, none of that. But, well, I guess, is there an element of that for you?
Yeah, there really is, man, because like people will come up to me and might say the most incredible thing, like say, this song saved my life or stopped me from committing suicide or something. And that kind of stuff means so much to me, but I often in my head will be like, that can't be real. Like I can't have that kind of impact on someone. You know what I mean? And even just the smallest, praise, I often think, I don't believe that. It's weird. I think it is some sort of imposter syndrome kind of thing. It's bizarre. I know a lot of artists who exactly the same.
I feel that while it, I can imagine it's weird for people to, continually come up and keep saying things like that to you, because at a certain point you're trying to process it in terms of the effect you've had in your studio with them outside. But the record itself at the time, I think part of the success, there's a few things that I want to touch on throughout today's interview, but one of them was like the honesty and rawness, if you will, of your lyrics in terms of, please correct me if I'm wrong, I think you were going through a bit of a difficult time during the making of the album or just before, and that you kind of just laid yourself all out on the line, like no holds bar, and that kind of shows in the record and that connected with people.
Yeah, I think looking back, I think the name of the album was very, like, couldn't have been better, Falling and Flying, because it was a mixture of both. It really was a lot of flying and a lot of crashing going on at the same time. So, and those kind of songs where I do just write more personal stuff and stuff from personal experience, I think that's where I write better music for sure. I think that's what people gravitate towards as well. They like the openness of it. It's got to, like sometimes I think, you know, I love, because I like doing it, but there's some things I'm just like, man, I just got to keep that to myself. I think just maybe write that and don't put it out because you just give too much information sometimes.
Well, I'm really curious in like the art form of balancing that act of like lyric writing, being honest, raw, emotional, but without being too honest. As you said, there's some stuff you don't want to put out, or, you know, some lyrics people might think, not you yourself, but we've spoken to a number of artists where they're like, people might think I'm a fucking crazy person if I put that out there. Like, how do you kind of find that line between what's appropriate for you to put out?
It's a tough one. I talk to my therapist about it. I like to say, all right, I've touched on this subject, but I don't know if I'm actually cool with putting it out. So if it's something that, you know, I'm usually happy to talk about mental illness and addiction and stuff, but sometimes when the shit gets real dark, it's hard, it is really hard to know, honestly. But it's all, sometimes it's just not even about putting it out. It's just writing it. Like if I'm going through something very dark, just writing it, even if it does nothing, like even if I don't record it or anything like that, just simply getting it down is super therapeutic. It really, really helps.
Yeah, of course. I can imagine just acknowledging it and then being able to put it aside.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. The music of the album at the time, these days I feel like genre blurring is kind of, you know, old hat. Everyone is doing it, but back 10 years ago it wasn't as common, and I feel that you took a huge risk that obviously, as we're discussing, very successful album, it paid off. But it was a massive risk at that time of, you know, blending hip hop, rap, like folk with Gossling, with Josh Pike. Like, what were you thinking when you went into the project and was like, let's do this, let's try putting these together?
It, like at the time, there was a specific kind of sound to Aussie hip hop, and people who did try and push the envelope a little bit or make some more poppy influenced stuff it was really frowned upon. And I come from that background of being a very, like, going into the underground scene like crazy, and for me to come and then like do this, like I used to make all just very raw classic hip hop, and then to come and to make something that's so poppy, and it was there was a big internal conflict going on at the time. You know, like I was so worried about putting it out because there's a lot of the people in the scene that I looked up to, I knew would just straight away just be like, this is some sellout shit, you know, and just not be on board with it. And that was like, there was almost songs that I took off that I'm so glad I didn't, because I thought that was the reason why. And it took me a while to get over that, but I realized that, you know, I'd have been selling out more if I didn't do what I wanted to do and just did what I thought others wanted me to do. But at that time when we were making that album, I was just so obsessed with songwriting, and I wasn't listening to hip hop when I made that album. I was really listening to a lot of just indie rock and pop and stuff like that. So teaming up with Styles, he was just the perfect person for that, because he is just a great songwriter, great producer. And when we first had a meeting with him about it, he was very hesitant to do it because of my background of where I came from. He thought that I would just want to make a typical kind of rap album. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to do something completely different. Like, let's go let's go all out. Like, let's bring in melodies, let's bring in dance elements, you know, everything. And the first 3 songs we did were super poppy, but they were, we had this immediate chemistry. And after that, we were just like, yeah, we've got to keep going. And we just kept churning out songs. It was just like one a week for a while. And yeah, that's how it ended up. It was a really big risk, but it's I'm just so glad that I did it. You know, like if you look at someone like Kanye West, who did 808s and Heartbreak, which was a big risk at the time, where he was on an upwards trajectory really, and he did that album, alienated a lot of people, and he just did it unapologetically. He loved it so much, and it didn't matter for that. For me, I admire that kind of stuff so much, to just go out there and do it because you love it. That's really what it's all about. If you like the music, it doesn't matter what anyone thinks.
100%. I think that it's always a big risk, you know, changing your sound, doing something that's slightly different from what people know you as. But if there's sincerity, as we've said, like honesty and everything else, and you believe in it, then I think it's the reason why these projects are successful. 808 is like now a cult classic, along with I feel like Kanye's trajectory since then is kind of, you know, up and down. But
yeah, crazy, up definitely.
Yeah. Have you listened to Donda?
I have, yeah. It's something I still need to listen to more. Like I loved it when I first heard it. Then the second heard it, I was like, oh, don't know about this. I feel like it was it was almost unfinished. But I think that's Kanye in a way. A friend, we were talking about how Drake came out and his album, my friend said this, it was a great quote. Drake's album is just so polished in every way and just everything just nails, where Kanye is just a beautiful mess almost. That's how his album is. It even though it is messy and all over the shop, it's still really good.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
Jewelry can say many things on your wedding day. As a wedding band, it can say, "This is a forever symbol of our forever love." As a gift to your wedding party, it can say, "Thanks for standing up there with us." Blue Nile can help you find the piece that says it all and says it beautifully, with expert guidance and a wide assortment of jewelry of the highest quality at the best price. Go to BlueNile.com and experience the convenience of shopping Blue Nile, the original online jeweler since 1999. That's BlueNile.com.
I would agree with that. I think that's actually quite a nice way to sum up. Yeah, both.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm into it that much. I did dig it at first, but I need to spend more time on it. I think it might either grow on me or it won't, you know. But I really enjoyed Drake's album. First listen.
That one, yeah, agreed. That one on the first listen, it is quite polished, but it is an enjoyable listen so far. So see how it goes with time. It is only, you know, a few days. Where are we? A week or so old.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on? I feel like Aussie hip hop over the last maybe 3 or 4 years has become somewhat more not Americanized or westernized. I feel like it still has an Aussie flat flavor to it, for lack of a better term. So I apologize for that word. But yeah, like, what are your thoughts on? Because I feel like when yourself, Hilltops, all the acts we mentioned before, there is a distinctive Australian kind of I don't want to use the word flavour. Fuck. What's the word?
No, it's like, I get you. It's like the accent and the style. The new wave of rap is very much more melodic and a lot of a lot of Aussies do go between the American accent and the Aussie accent and stuff like that. I actually really like it, man. Like I think it's not that kind of new wave of music. While it's not something that I listen to that much. Like I appreciate it for what it is. Like I think it's incredible what those people do. Like what Kid Laroi does, you know, like get in Juice WRLD with someone. They get in there, they put on a beat and they freestyle, and whatever comes to them is what they put down. It's not necessarily very heavily lyrically driven in a lot of cases. Juice WRLD definitely was, and Kid Laroi is definitely in a lot of ways too, but that's not what it's all about. It's just more about the energy. And I think that's when people create without thinking, that's the purest form of making art. I really believe that. And people have figured it out. It's like it's almost like a cheat code, you know, to make songs, like to just go in there, put a beat on, freestyle. Don't say any lyrics while you're doing it. You're just freestyling melodies and then piecing the lyrics to it afterwards. And that the way they're doing that, they're able to churn out like 10 to 20 songs a day, and it's brilliant. I really love it. It's like its own genre. But in Australia, I think it's so cool to see that there's an avenue, there's a lane for everyone. Like there's literally people that rap like old school 90s Wu-Tang style stuff, and if they're good, they get a big following. Or there's people doing the more UK drill kind of sounding stuff, and they're killing it. And there's people who do the super poppy stuff. You know, if the music's good, it'll work and speak for itself, I think. So
Yeah,
I'm with it all. Like I really love watching how it has evolved. And I think Future had such an impact when he came out, and how it was sort of that mumble rap era where he kind of came out doing this new style, well, made it popular anyway. And then it was just influxed and people experimenting and just like going off it. It's really, really cool.
Is it a kind of it's not a genre, but like, is it a direction that you could see yourself trying out? Like with Falling and Flying, it was trying out new things. Is it something that you've looked at in terms of pushing boundaries, trying new directions for 360?
Yeah, so I like the music, and one thing that for me when I write, I know that I have a very it's almost mathematical in the way that I flow and write lyrics and stuff. And the way that it's the way this new wave is, that's not how it's done. It's all about just finding the pocket that you flow in on the spot. But I know that I need to get out of my comfort zone if I want to get better as a rapper and as an artist. So I do things like, man, it's funny. It sounds crazy, but I get like download a Young Thug song, an instrumental and the song, and then I'll record the whole song doing Young Thug's bit, Future's bit. I did this song called Paddock Water, and I just wanted to do it to see how I would go sounding like that. And it's really cool to do something like that, because it made me, you know, it gives me new ways of delivering, or, you know, I might not necessarily go down that route of making that kind of music, but I'll learn from rapping that way, or maybe some different types of vocal inflections or tones, or, you know, just way I can pronounce words and stuff like that. I think it's a good way of trying to upgrade, I think.
Yeah, definitely. It's like a way of not mastering your craft, almost, just like
practicing. Yeah.
Do you think that there's enough people that, and obviously we don't know the inner workings of every artist, but that there are some artists that just kind of, you know, stick with the same tried and tested formula and do that? Do you think that that is something that more artists should be doing in terms of, you know, like, even if they don't release a full album of like mumble rap or whatever it may be, whatever genre they are, that they should be kind of, like testing those waters and really working on a craft instead of just lucking it, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I think people get complacent in their in a formula that works, and that's okay, it's all good. But I really love seeing people adapt, like, and evolve. And like I've noticed with the New Bliss and SO stuff, I can tell their flows that they're doing now, they're new to them. Like it's not the same Bliss and SO that you would expect, you know what I mean? That you can tell they're trying new things, and I really like that. I love. It's something I have to focus on doing, is because it's the only way I can get better and master that craft. Like you said, like it has to be done. I love seeing it, but it is understandable if there is a formula that works and you stick to it, and that's how you make music. That's I get that as well.
Yeah. That's no disrespect to anyone that does that.
Absolutely.
With obviously we've been talking about the past and the re-release of the album, which does obviously bring up it's a little bit of a, not a dumb question, but it's a question that I think everyone would be expecting me to ask, is that can we expect new music from you anytime soon?
Yeah, absolutely. There's I've been writing. I've been on a tear, just going so hard writing. I've got so much new stuff, and I don't want to roll it out in a typical fashion. I don't want to, like, at the moment, there's no album on the way. I'm not writing with an agenda for an album, but I do have a way that I am thinking I want to roll everything out, and I've got so much new stuff. I've also got a lot of songs that are in the vault, like from over the last 7 years or something, songs that I haven't put out, and there's hundreds of them. So I think I'd like to release those as well, but just not in the typical way. I want to get really creative with it. Like, I've started coming up with these cool concept ideas of how we can put this stuff out and it not even be an album rollout. It's just a project that we're doing, and it's just songs with visual elements and all this kind of crazy shit.
Yeah, that sounds very cool. Do you think that, so we were talking earlier, like 10 years ago, best way to get your music out there was through radio. With how technology has changed and everything else, do you enjoy that now that you are able to have these more creative ideas of rolling out the music, or having fans having access to music in different ways, whether it be, as we discussed, TikTok, it could be NFTs, it could be whatever it is? Is that something that, like, you now, is it an enjoyable process, I guess, as an artist, being able to come up with ideas like that for releases?
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I think it's so important. I think people have, we've reached a time where people have short attention spans, and they're never satisfied. They need as much content as possible. So I think for artists, the best thing to do is, if you can do, like, it doesn't matter even if it's not music, just any content that isn't just like putting out audio is just always so helpful in the promo, like rolling it out in different creative ways. Like I've got these songs that I did, they're really different. Like one's a country song, like it's a concept album, so every song is about a TV show. So I did a song called True Blood, which is about the TV show, and Westworld, which was the country song, was about a character in that. And each song is named after a show, and I was going to call it like audio cinema and put it out, but how to roll that out in a creative way rather than just going, oh, here's some songs that never made the cut, it's important to think of it like that. Like what can you like I guess maybe not trying to reinvent the wheel, but trying to think of ways that we could put them out.
Yeah,
that'd
of
be
course.
totally different to the normal rollout.
Yeah, I feel like well, with anything, presentation is key. If you can have a beautifully cooked steak, but if you just kind of throw it out there,
That's it.
Yeah. 60, usually we would ask our guests what they're currently listening to. I know we've already touched on Donda and Certified Lover Boy, but is there anything else that you're currently enjoying or listening to?
I'm really enjoying battle rap at the moment. Music-wise, like rappers like King Los and Mickey Fax and Nino Bless are just very. At the moment, it's very strange. I feel like I've gone to my younger self in the sense that I'm very focused on raps and getting the like really lyrical and getting as technical as possible. And before I release the next project, I really want to step up my game. So that's where it is at the moment.
Is that where, very quickly to touch on this before we wrap up, like, is that where Rappertag kind of came back into the picture in terms of getting to, interact and work with a number of different musical artists and rappers, but also kind of get that muscle memory of rapping back?
Yeah, that there's something about the live rap video, like in the Rappertag. There's something about when rappers would do freestyles on radio shows. There's something about that I'm really loving at the moment. And with the Rappertag, I've been floating the idea to reintroduce it again, and it just never felt like the right time until now, especially with all the lockdowns and stuff going on. It's just like, all right, this time let's really make it something special. Where last time I just put out the video and just let it go organically, and whatever happened. This time we've got, I'm not running the social media or anything like that. I'm just sort of overseeing it in the background, but we've got really, really big goals with where we want to take it. We want to take it to the US and the UK. I think with the right backing and with the right artists involved, like, can you imagine how crazy a Rappertag would be in the US with some of the best rappers there? Like, obviously it wouldn't be something that I would start. Like, I wouldn't start the Rappertag in America. It'd be something where we take it to someone and say, look, we've got this idea. Let's do it in the States. I think it could be really, really cool. And I love it because I just love seeing all these different styles come in, like people coming in with more modern sounding stuff or more classic. You can do anything in Rappertag you want. And it's very exciting.
It is a very cool idea, and I was glad to see it back the second season. Oh, fuck. I'm going to forget who it was, but there was one, I think it might have been episode 2 or 3. Was it Nerve?
Nerve, yeah.
Like fantastic. I don't know. There was just something about like the flow of the rhyme that he was putting out was fantastic, and it is a very cool idea. So hopefully that idea does take off in the States and the UK, Europe, and kind of just continues to grow. Yeah.
I honestly have big goals. Like I shoot for the fence, so I'm aiming as high as possible. Like I want Eminem to do a Rappertag eventually. Like I want Leroy on the Aussie Rappertag. I really want it to go to those big places, and I believe that it will. I really hope it does anyway. But Nerve was so good, man. He's just such a talented guy. Like he produces his shit. He's so diverse. He can do any style. So it's so good to see how, like, I love seeing the new generation just killing it.
It's very cool. Just as you just said, you are swinging for the fences. It does show, and it has shown from the past work as well. 60, congratulations on the anniversary of Falling and Flying, and congratulations on the vinyl reissue as well, mate. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Man, pleasure. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Good interview.
And that's our show. A massive thank you to 360 for his time. The Falling and Flying reissue is out now, and we've left links in the show notes if you'd like to buy the record. We also want to give a huge shout out to Mariam at EMI Music for helping out with today's interview. You can find a link to our Spotify playlist in the show notes, where you'll be able to listen to all of our guests' picks. If you like this show, please subscribe wherever you get your pods and stay up to date when new episodes are released. We release new shows each Thursday and Friday morning, with guest playlists streaming on Spotify at the same time. You can follow the playlist profile on Spotify, and you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Until next week, cheers.
Imagine the softest sheets you've ever felt. Now imagine them getting even softer over time. That's what you'll feel with Boll & Branch's best-selling signature sheets in 100% organic cotton. In a recent customer survey, 96% replied that Boll & Branch sheets get softer with every wash. Start getting your best night's sleep in sheets that get softer and softer for years to come. Try their sheets with a 30-night guarantee. Plus, get 15% off your first order at bollandbranch.com, code BUTTERY. Exclusions apply. See site for details.